Bowen's Don River floodplain is one of Queensland's largest fruit and vegetable production regions. With farming operations just a few kilometres from its coastal shores, adjacent to the Great Barrier Reef, producers in the area are acutely aware of their environmental responsibility. Through adoption of the latest technology, growers are finding practical solutions to farming challenges to sustain long-term food production in the region and to do their part to help improve reef water quality. Carl Walker of Walker Farms Phantom Produce has been growing fruit and vegetables such as capsicum, cucumber and tomatoes in the Bowen region for the past 24 years. In 2010, Carl adopted GPS technology to implement a controlled traffic system on his farm. This allowed establishment of permanent tracks, which has helped minimise soil compaction and erosion and improve production efficiency. More recently, Carl has partnered with a Queensland government-funded project to trial the use of variable rate technology, aimed at further improving soil and crop health.
Look, the challenges we have for farming at this site is one, we're in a flood zone, and two, we're very close to the ocean, and a lot of this country was salt pan. So we have salinity problems. In a 200 metre row, we might have 3 different soil types, which is really hard to manage if you're not putting the right amounts of gypsum and fertilisers down. Obviously your bushes are not growing as well as it should, your quality of fruit is not as good as it should be in places.
To help better understand the cause of the crop variability and to effectively apply the technology, Carl first needed to gain further understanding of the different soil types on his farm. Sarah Limpus from the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries leads the project and started the process by undertaking a soil survey.
In 2016 we had Carl's farm mapped for electrical conductivity. The sensor that we use measures electromagnetic induction as an indicator of clay, salt and water content in the soil. We use those maps to target soil sampling sites so that we can assess the variability of the different soil characteristics across the site. The soil survey results showed that more than half of his 34-hectare property was affected by sodicity. Sodicity of this magnitude affects plant growth as well as nutrient availability, and this matches what Carl has observed in his crops over the last few years.
It's actually quite mind-blowing when you look at the overlay of the maps with all the core samples and all the mapping process, all the colours, and you can really see it, and you can see where you roughly thought you knew your farm. There's parts of it you think, well, geez, that's a lot deeper than I thought it was. And it changes the way you do some of your farm management practices, and it's for the better.
With detailed information on his soils, Carl was then able to use variable rate technology to address the sodicity problem. This allowed him to vary the application rates to meet the specific needs of the crop on various parts of his farm.
With this variable rate technology, and we're getting it where we need it. And when we crunch our numbers on the whole farm, on the mapping and the variable rate technology, we're using no more than I was using before, except where I need it, I'm getting it. Where I don't need it, I'm not putting it. So your plants are looking better, so then your productivity goes up.
Through more targeted gypsum applications over the last 2 years, Carl has reduced the area of his farm affected by sodicity by 29%.
Over the past few years, there's been a very positive result in the soil health. You can see the changes in the pliability of the soil and also the more evenness of the crops. Bush size is a lot better than they were in those areas. So obviously the fruit size is better, production is better, the quality is better.
The next steps in the project are to refine our sampling processes so that we can quantify yield improvements, implement a strip trial to identify more efficient gypsum products, and conduct drainage assessments so that we can find options to manage sodium at its source.
The ultimate aim of the project is to introduce practices that are not only environmentally sound, but also profitable for growers.
The most benefit, I think, for all of us on the farm, we're trying not to waste inputs because they cost money. And two, if we put on more than we need, we've got a chance of leaching and causing environmental damage, which we don't want. With the variable rate technology, on my farm, we use very minimal amounts of fertiliser, and when the crop's finished, the fertiliser's finished. So your cost savings are enormous, and your benefits for environmental and your land, everything else is enormous as well.